Alright, hi, welcome to an update video that I should have made a while ago. For my last one, I mentioned that I have another one coming, and that was quite a while ago. I've just been a little bit too lazy to make these, but I also struggle with these sometimes because I wanna have something meaningful to say about the films, and sometimes I feel like I just don't. And so this time it's gonna be a bit briefer, I think, than normal. I'm not gonna go on and on about the films, partly because it's been quite a while since I saw most of these. But we are looking at some horror and some kind of trash cinema, I suppose you might say. And then we're looking at some art cinema, experimental cinema that I purchased from Revoir, which is one of my favorite places at the moment in the recent couple of years to purchase movies from. They just carry such interesting things, and a lot of the time it's difficult to know with experimental cinema if you're gonna like it or not, because it's a lot of about the visual ideas and the montage and meanings hidden within, and that's kind of hard to read up on. It's not like they have a plot that you can familiarize yourself with beforehand. But I'm gonna start with some just some random secondhand store pickups. I don't even know what this is. It's an Indian film, Bunty and Babli. I don't even don't even remember buying this, but it's I presume that it's a DVD with English subtitles. So that's an Indian film. This is the film Unhinged with Russell Crowe, which I have not seen, but I found that. Thought I'd pick that up. Yes Boss, another Indian film. Almost looks like a bootleg. What do you think? I don't know. Anyway, so Shah Rukh Khan, I mean, I obviously recognize that name, but I don't know if I've seen anything that he's been in. And then something called Reaching for the Moon. Why did I buy this? Because Miranda Otto was in this, or maybe I looked it up at the store and it sounded kind of good, or you never know. Yeah, I mean, I might check this out one of these days. Okay, so here we have the trash cinema first, and I say that lovingly, of course. A lot of the time, I consider so-called trash cinema to be like one side of the coin, and then art cinema, or so-called art cinema, is the other side of the coin. Because a lot of the time it's not about the result, it's about the intention and of being ambitious about the ideas that you want to present on screen. And trash cinema tends to have a lot of ideas because they are a genre. Well, anyway, they try to be a specific thing, and they're often coming from mad minds who want to put on a spectacle, and sometimes it just doesn't turn out exactly the way they want it to, maybe, but that's also part of it. And somehow I don't know, I don't think too differently of art cinema and trash cinema. Sometimes there can be like a perfect mix between the two. Anyway, I think this maybe I've noticed I have a bruise here. Oh well. Terminal Degeneration: The Films of John Moritsugu. So this was released by AGFA, a American genre film archive. Amazing label. This might be their magnum opus so far. I don't really know. I haven't bought them all. But John Moritsugu, really incredible underground filmmaker who experimented in a lot of different styles. As you will see when you watch these, you have the list of films here. And when you watch the films, and I decided to watch them in chronological order, which is usually what I do, because I like seeing how a person's style and sensibility evolves. And doing that here, it became obvious that his style always changed. I feel like he tried to explore one thing per film, and then when he had done that successfully, because all of these are successful, all of them are good. So when he had done that, it seems like he wanted to move on to a new aesthetic of some kind. But I think hippie porn is my favorite. It's just something so forlorn about that, and something so heartbreaking and barren and poetic. It's absolutely beautiful. Terminal USA, almost the complete opposite in terms of style. And then mod fuck explosion, really terrific. I love this set. It's really, really good. Love After Death, another AGFA title, kind of sexploitation trash movie. Some pretty interesting cinematography here. I haven't seen the one here, The Good, the Bad, and the Beautiful, so I gotta get around to doing that. Here is a double feature from Saturn's Core, which I have become a bit of a fan of. Red Spirit Lake and We Await. We Await was okay, but Red Spirit Lake is just crazy, and really, really, I mean, it's good on so many different levels, and really, really rewatchable, and the music is great. So yeah, really great release. Then I have two here, which I didn't know if I wanted to get, because they are Wave Productions, and Wave was a company created by Gary Whitson. And essentially, I mean, he made films like these, which were more proper films. But what Wave really is, at its core, is you basically have people with certain fetishes, you might argue, who send in scripts, and then they pay to have the script realized on screen. So you'll have a lot of women hogtied like that, and you'll have a lot of a lot of recurring themes. A lot of lingering shots on bodies and what have you in certain positions, all kinds of stuff that all those sick freaks who write the scripts wanna see. No, but I guess I've seen a couple of those maybe, but these are the main two that I've seen, and these were not sent in by people who wanted to make them or who wanted to see their thoughts come together on screen, but rather they are more proper feature-length movies. You could argue that they are a bit too long, actually. I think this one is 110 minutes long. The way that they set up the plot for this one it takes so long, and it's so boring, but there's just something so charming about it, and something almost a little bit what's the word, a little bit hypnotizing. But overall, I think I like Hung Jury better than Dead North. Did I even mention the titles for these ones? Well, you can see what they're called. So that's those, and then we have Deep Undead, which there's something so. I mean, this one. I mean, these were from the 90s, like early 90s. This one I thought was gonna be from around the same time, but it's around. I think it's from around 2005. It's by Dave Castiglione, who appears in a couple of Wave films. You can spot him in. I forget which one out of these two, but yeah, he was working with Gary Whitson, and I didn't even know that when I bought this, but I bought this together with these two from Vinegar Syndrome. I think during their sale. I think that's where I bought these. Yeah, and I didn't even realize that there was a crossover. But this one, it's got such an ethereal quality. It's so haunting, but it's very, very strange. It's very slow. Again, quite long and very low budget. Not for everyone, but there was something so beautiful about this one. And then this one, Burglar from Hell. And now this is kind of funny, because this was made by Phil something. What's his name? Phil Herman. I think he was also involved in Wave, but I forget his role exactly. Yeah, this one it's kind of like a. I think Phil Herman, he was kind of inspired by certain classic horror films, like maybe Nightmare on Elm Street, for example. And you can kind of tell that it's a bit of an average slasher. It doesn't really have that much gore. It has some pretty cool shots in the beginning, but then it turns into a film which it just feels like friends making films, on a high school level. It doesn't feel like, I don't even know. It doesn't feel particularly interesting to me. There was nothing unique about this one. Kind of fun, but a little bit too amateurish without all of those great ideas. that something like Deep Undead has. Just kind of plain, to be honest. And here is Mail Order Murder, the story of Wave Productions, documentary about Wave, Talking Heads documentary, released by Saturn's Core. Pretty fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed the stories from these people. There's a couple of crazy stories, and there was something. What was her name? Debbie D, who's in this one as well. Debbie D. She has a couple stories that she tells, and you kind of listening to her stories, and you're like, wait, did I hear that correctly? And you're like trying to make sense of what she just said. Because there were a couple of stories that she told, or one story in particular which just sounded concerning, like one of these on-set stories, like haha, low budget, gotta put up with some crap now and then on this film set, but like, no, wait a minute, that sounds really dangerous what you just said. So there were a few moments like that. So I always like these kinds of Talking Heads documentaries about the making of horror films. Like, that was always one of my favorite things to watch out for on Blu-rays for horror films. Like, I know when I got the House Arrow set, like, I enjoyed watching all the interviews just as much as the movies themselves. And the same thing went for Phantasm, that big set that I had, and etc. So always liked those kinds of things. But this is its own. This is not an extra. I mean, this is something that could have been an extra on a Blu-ray, but it's its own thing, and I'm not complaining. It's not great, but it is enjoyable. Okay, so we're gonna move over to the experimental revoir titles. I don't have too much things to say about some of these. I'll be perfectly frank. This is Claudine Asikman. Where is she from? I haven't seen these. I don't know even where she's from. But Michael Snow thought that she was an amazing phenomenon. Yeah, so these are quite long, and I haven't seen them yet. I don't know anything about them. I just haven't gone around to seeing them yet. Here's François Miron. I didn't really like these too much. I really tried to get along with them, but I didn't ultimately like his visual ideas. I just didn't really know what he was trying to say. Because I mean, it's nice with an experimental film sometimes, which is purely visual. But I like for it to have something to say, and I was struggling to find the messages in those. Here, Cityscapes, H.C. Gilje, a Norwegian visual artist. These were just trash to me, absolute trash. I'm so sorry, but I didn't get anything out of this. My favorite part is the interview for some reason, because it was like an ASMR kind of experience. So I like that more than the films. Hybrid, Joanna Vard. These are really good. The samurai one is really, really great. There's a really cool energy to these films. Again, they're quite hard to explain, because it's like a bunch of visual ideas, but they're quite short. I think 82 minutes in total, and there's 6 films. But stuff like this is really rewatchable. You can kind of just put them on whenever, and maybe you'll find something new in them. All right, I've already bought this in the past, and then I accidentally bought another one. I just wanted to show you that, because I never make those mistakes. I was never one of those people who forgot what I had. I always thought that I'm buying them. I'm buying things for a reason, and I'm watching them for a reason. So I'm not gonna forget about them. But this one somehow it escaped my mind. So I bought this one again. I guess I can sell one of them on, but I don't know that anyone wants this. But just to briefly say, to briefly comment on the films, I really remember enjoying this one a lot. River Colors. This one not so much. This one was okay. Here we have the Peter Cherkassky DVDs that Index released. I just decided to get all of these because I was checking back and forth, I mean, I was checking time and time again on the website, and a lot of the times the Peter Cherkassky DVDs, like 1 or 2 were in stock, but the other one was like out of stock. But then finally they had all 3, so I thought, let me get them all at once, and now I have them. But I had already seen most of the films on these DVDs, so I just really bought them for the few that I hadn't seen. Parallel Space was really great. I hadn't seen that before. I had seen most of this actually from before, if not all of these, actually. And then Tabula Rasa was really interesting. The Exquisite Corpus is just magnificent. Like his editing skills are out of this world. I mean, he only uses archival footage, and many years ago I was really kind of put off by that idea. Archival footage, making new films out of old footage. I just don't like the idea. It's like the same problem that I have had historically with covers. Like, I don't like redos, remixes. I want new material. But I've changed my mind about some of that stuff. Like, I think reusing material or repurposing material for a different purpose can actually really work. And he shows that really well in something like Instructions for a Light and Sound Machine. I mean, I mean, I don't want to sound pretentious. I certainly don't understand everything in them, but you kind of have to really deeply watch them to get what they're trying to do. Yeah, you have to really attack. You kind of have to turn the dice over and kind of see the other sides, and not just from head on. You really have to kind of try and move around the ideas and see them from different views to really see what he's trying to say, I suppose. But yeah, really interesting stuff. I'm really happy to have those. Excuse my throat. Ludo is fantastic. Very nice looking, if simple DVD, but this is just beautiful. Come on. This is a documentary about a very underground artist, a very eccentric guy. I don't really care for his art, but I like documentaries so much. I mean, I've said this, I don't even know how many times on my YouTube channel over the years, but I just love portraits of eccentrics, whether they are artists or just somebody with a different lifestyle. Ever since I was a kid, I've enjoyed TV shows like that, and then documentaries. And the only problem with this is that it's supposedly English friendly, but anytime he talks in German, was it? It's not subtitled. Okay, Flemish with English subtitles. Well, that is not completely accurate. I don't remember if some of it was subtitled or if nothing was, but I know that there were several extended sections where he was talking, not to the camera. It's not a documentary where he sits down and talks in front of the camera, not at all. It's more raw and unfiltered than that. It just kind of follows him along. But you do have these moments where he is saying stuff, and it's not subtitled, so that's unfortunate. He didn't really talk a whole lot. He mostly just laughed and walked around and cackled, but he seemed like a cool guy. I'm not sure if I completely understood who he was at the end of it, but I love stuff like that. Anyway, Ingo Petzke, Northern Lights. So these really reminded me of the films of Werner Neckes, but there's a reason for that. Apparently he worked closely to him, strongly influenced by Petzke's relationship or friendships with Werner Neckes, and then Dora O as well, who was the wife of Werner Neckes, and she also made kind of similar films. And if you look at the titles for Werner Neckes' films and then Dora O's films, and then you look at the titles for Ingo Petzke's films, like they have some sort of similarities. Um, but they're sort of like landscape films, but not in the way that I like them. Not like James Benning makes them, but more like, I don't know, more unfocused and unclear what they want to say exactly. But I think this was my favorite, Hong Kong Topography, which is the last one and the one that really stands out from the bunch because it's not like the rest of them. No, this one, sorry, Hong Kong Topography Part 1. Hong Kong Topography full version. I don't even know what that... Did I miss that? Was that on here, really? Full version. I might just not remember completely because it's been a long time since... It's been many months since I had this in the player, as is the case for everything so far. This is Pierre Clementi. This was very expensive. It's limited to 1,000. Another one that is supposedly English friendly. Look at that beautiful back. And I don't know if I really got my money's worth because a couple of these aren't subtitled, and then a few of them are kind of boring. But there's one film. This one here. I'm not gonna attempt to say it, but this one here from 1967. Although I don't think that was released until maybe 10 years later. But that was wild, absolutely wild. But I think I paid like 50 euros for this. Is it worth 50 euros for one 43-minute film, even if it is incredible? I don't think so. But anyway, I really enjoyed that film, and the box set is gorgeous, you know. But it's a shame with the subtitles, man. There were a couple of things that, yeah, just left me wanting more. But yeah, that one film, like I said, was really, I'm just ecstatic, just absolute ecstasy on screen. Here we have Jacques Percant. I'm always trying to not sound like too much of a fool, trying to pronounce these names with respect. I mean, I want to be respectful, and I don't want to pronounce everything, you know, Englishified or whatever. But I also don't want to sound like a fool. Well, anyway, so the booklets for these two DVDs or Blu-rays. Wait, I know one of them is a Blu-ray. This one is a DVD, but this one is a Blu-ray, or this one is, yeah. Well, anyway, I don't even know how to explain his films. He just he films something and then he digitally manipulates them to such an extent that it just looks like there's like a breakdown, some kind of technological failure happening on screen, because it's like everything becomes pixelated and blotchy, but there's like a purpose for it. But his style, his techniques are kind of unusual. I haven't seen somebody make films the way he does before. But yeah, it's like the digital. Sorry about my stutterings. The digital. That was a hard word to say today. The digital world kind of infiltrating the natural world. Sorry. Okay. Well, which ones were my favorites? I want to say that these ones were much more interesting than these ones. Yeah. I want to say that those two maybe, and that one. These three were the best ones. And these, like one I don't even perfectly remember. I think I do remember them, but they are so abstract and so minimal. It takes a while for me to recall exactly what they were. I know this one, and I know this one. I think I forget this one. Anyway, yeah. So, really cool, but very hard to explain. Vivienne Dick. She was a part of the no wave scene in the early 80s. I mean, first of all, the cover doesn't at all translate into what the films communicate. I don't know why they chose this artwork. This was really kind of haunting in a lonely, beautiful way to me. But the movies are quite abrasive, you could say. Yeah, I didn't really like these, I have to say. But you never really do know. So oh, I forgot about these two. Forbidden Love, the unashamed story of lesbian lives. Look at how long this has been lying around. It's really quite dusty. Yeah, this has a bunch of women telling the story of their lives being gay at a time when it maybe wasn't socially accepted. This film is from 1992, and I think it's described as being one of the first in its kind. Again, I like hearing from people, hearing people's stories. Some of my favorite YouTube channels are just interview channels with people from all walks of life, and they just simply tell their story. And so that's kind of what this is, with a greater purpose, of course. And then this one, Dressed in Blue, which is I guess a similar film. It's when was this from? It's about trans women in Madrid, in Spain. So yeah. 6 transgender women in Madrid, following Spain's transition to democracy, 1983. Yeah. So again, really quite early for a film like this. This had some really beautiful scenes, some beautiful cinematography. Sometimes it's hard to know if the scenes are staged. It's one of those films where you can kind of tell that these are real people, but a lot of it is kind of staged to get the point across. And I sometimes don't really like that, I have to say. But overall, it's a beautiful slip, as you can see. Yeah, and great film as well. So that's all for today. I do have an unboxing coming. I've ordered some stuff from Wow HD that I'm really excited about, so I'm gonna unbox that for you. Hopefully in a couple of weeks that video should be up, I hope, if everything goes according to plan. Maybe less than that, who knows. But anyway, that is all for today. Yeah, thanks.